So Justin, tell me a little bit about how you got here.
Well, my parents started Viermar back in 2000. Of course, it takes a number of years to be able to be open.
Yeah.
They had asked me to come back, and I said no. I lived in Chicago and was enjoying my life in Chicago. And then they asked again, and it was starting to pick up steam, and I could see that there was a potential future in this. And then I told my parents, I said, if we're going to do this, I want to do it right. So you have to give me another couple years. And I went back to UC Davis, picked up my degree in enology, have been making wine ever since. And I just didn't know that this was my true calling.
Yes.
My grandfather made wine. We drank wine in barber shops, and we had wine as children on Sunday night dinners. And I didn't know that I had an affinity for it. When we took over James Charles, this was an old apple orchard, and it had fallen into some disrepair. So the orchard wasn't really producing for them, and so we tore out the orchard, and you can't immediately plant grapes after you tear out an orchard because the orchard uses so much nutrients. So you have to let the ground sit feral for, well, Virginia Tech recommends 2 years. And obviously we were not wanting to wait 2 years because the sooner you get it in the ground, the sooner you're able to start production. So we strategically kind of planted around here in order to kind of hit that 2-year minimum.
Yeah. Well, and you do a lot with white Bordeaux blends. I love that.
Even though we're Italian lineage, my heart is in France. And I, you know, being a wine person, a lot of what we do always plays deference back to France. And we talked about like some of the terminology like veraison, and in French that means the changing of the colors, but in winemaking terms it really means the accumulation of the sugars inside of the individual berries. My heart is in Loire. I just love Loire, and I love Bordeaux. I love Loire because of the Cabernet Francs, just absolutely spectacular Sauvignon Blancs. Just love the mineral properties. We just love all the Bordeaux varietals, from Carménère to Petit Verdot, to Cabernet Sauvignon, to Cabernet Franc, to Malbec, to Merlot, because they can all be blended and create such a unique wine. And even changing like 2-3% of a particular blend will make a real impact. Merlot by itself has this wonderful cassis type flavors to it, where the Petit Verdot, inky black, graphite, some people describe it as like lead pencil shavings, cigar box, leather. Those are wonderful things. But when you put it in a blend of a wine, you may get nuances of it, but you can't really appreciate the full essence. So we like to do the blends, but then we like to have each component so you can kind of taste, that's what Merlot tastes like by itself. That's what Petit Verdot tastes like by itself.
Yeah.
That's what Carménère tastes like by itself.